I swear, I've never seen a tennis player rise so fast and then just vanish like a ghost. You know what's crazy? And disappeared. What happened to this kid who seemed destined for glory? Let's rewind to 2014. Hyeon Chung was just 18, sitting way down at world number 542. Nobody had him on their radar then. Out of nowhere, he caught fire. Within months, he rocketed up to number 171. That kind of leap? You rarely see it. His secret? Well, his game was different, not textbook pretty, but crazy effective.
Novak because he's my idol, so I don't know.
You've done an amazing job.
He had this lightning-quick racket speed and footwork that made him glide around the court. His defense was a nightmare to break down. Opponents hated playing him because he'd chase balls most guys wouldn't even bother with. By 2015, it wasn't just about climbing rankings, he was taking home wins. 4 challenger titles in a single season sent him all the way to number 54. The ATP even handed him the Most Improved Player award, basically saying, yep, this guy's the real deal. Then 2017 rolled around, and that's when he broke through. At the Barcelona Open, he took out Alexander Zverev, ranked 21st in the world, and already a rising star. Next, he faced Rafael Nadal, fresh off a Monte Carlo win, and nearly untouchable on clay. Most players get steamrolled. Not Chung. He pushed Rafa to a tense first set, losing 7-6, enough to make Nadal himself take notice. And then came the real headline moment. Chung at the first next-gen ATP Finals? Dude was on a mission. He took down Shapovalov, Medvedev, and Rublev, guys who are tennis royalty now. And Chung? He just coolly steamrolled through them. We're not talking about some lucky run. He straight up looked like he belonged in the club with those future legends. What made him stand out? The guy was a freak lightning fast, tougher than a $2 steak on defense, and unshakable. Some players crumble when things get tight. Not Chung. He'd just dig in, make you wish you picked another sport, and then flip the script out of nowhere. Watching him was wild, like, you hit what should be a winner, and suddenly the ball's coming back at you with interest. Ever seen someone defend like their life's on the line and then, boom, they're suddenly in control? That was Chung's whole vibe. People started buzzing, this dude might snag a slam someday. And honestly, it felt like he was just getting started. Household name yet. But that changed fast. In the third round, he faced world number 4 Alexander Zverev in a 5-set slugfest. Chung's defense was unreal. He moved like he had rocket boosters in his shoes, turning defense into offense over and over. This wasn't just hanging in rallies. He was dictating them. And suddenly everyone realized this wasn't just a promising youngster, this was a legit threat. But the real jaw-dropper was still to come. Next up, Novak Djokovic. Now, Djokovic was coming off a 6-month break with an elbow injury, so the big question was, how sharp would he be? Chung didn't care. He went toe-to-toe with one of the game's greatest defenders, matching him in flexibility, anticipation, and sheer stubbornness in every rally. The points went on forever, and for once, Djokovic was the one breaking first. 7-6, an upset so big it had everyone asking, who is this guy? And he wasn't done. In the quarters, he breezed through in straight sets again, setting up a blockbuster semifinal against Roger Federer, dubbed as the next Djokovic versus the GOAT. But just as the buzz was peaking, disaster struck. A brutal blister on Chung's foot forced him to retire early in the second set, ending what felt like a fairy tale run. Even so, that tournament catapulted him into the ATP top 30 and had fans and pundits convinced he was on track for the top 10. It looked like the start of a long, but then, boom. Back pain starts nagging him right as the clay season kicks in. Total nightmare fuel. He couldn't even show up for Monte Carlo, just straight up sat it out, because his back was screaming at him. When did he finally show up in Madrid? Yikes. You could tell something was way off. He got steamrolled 6-2, 6-0. Hard to believe this was the same guy who just sent Djokovic packing a few months earlier. Wild. And then it just kept getting uglier. The pain wouldn't let up. He had to skip both Roland Garros and Wimbledon. That's like a musician missing Coachella and Glastonbury in the same summer. Brutal. Those are the tournaments everyone dreams of, and he couldn't even step on the court. Even when he did try to gut it out and play, Chung just wasn't himself. The back issues wouldn't quit, and his game started to fall apart. Out early at the US Open, sometimes forced to pull the plug mid-match because he flat out couldn't move. Still finished the year at 27, which is honestly wild considering how banged up he was, but you could just feel the magic slipping away. Then 2019 rolls around, and nope, not getting any better. The back problems are still parked there, messing with his head and his game. He's losing to dudes he should be beating, crashing out of tournaments like the Australian Open in Rotterdam before anyone's even warmed up their popcorn. It was like every good day got wiped out by two bad ones. Eventually, Chung just had to call me. Step away, focus on getting his body right. Totally the smart move, but man, it had to hurt. A guy that talented, and suddenly he's forced to watch from the sidelines. By that point, everyone was asking the same thing. Is this it for Chung? Is he ever going to come back and light it up again? Or did injuries just steal the show before he even got to headline? After months off the tour, Chung finally stepped back in 2019, starting from scratch. Ranked way down at 160, he hit the challenger circuit to rebuild both his game and his confidence. And to everyone's relief, there was a spark. He won his first challenger title since the layoff, and for a moment, it felt like the old Chung might be back. That momentum carried into the US Open qualifying rounds, where he breezed through in straight sets. Then came the moment that reminded everyone why they loved. Next up was Rafael Nadal. Even fully healthy, that's a mountain to climb. Nadal won in straight sets, but Chung's resilience and refusal to roll over still made an impression. By the year's end, he'd worked his way back to number 139 in the world. Not the top 30 he'd once held, but a step in the right direction. And then, another setback. Late in 2019, a new injury knocked him out of the Australian Open, the same tournament where he'd once stunned Djokovic. When 2020 rolled around, Chung tried to reset and push forward. But then COVID-19 shut the entire tennis world down for months. The pause didn't just stall his progress, it left him chasing a comeback in the middle of chaos. Once they got back out there, Chung's back was still giving him hell. Honestly, things just fell apart. He scraped out one win in 4 tournaments after the lockdown, looking like he was playing with a piano strapped to his back. The pain just wouldn't let up. So yeah, he bit the bullet and went in for back surgery. Supposedly, the operation went fine, but, you know, surgery's the easy part. It's the whole, "Can I play again?" question that looms over everything. After that, radio silence. Updates? Pretty much non-existent. People started wondering if he'd ever show up on a match court again. Then, boom, almost 2 years later, in September 2022, he pops up in a South Korean ATP 250, but only for doubles. He snags a couple of wins, flashes some of that old-school Chung magic one had secretly hoped for. Fast forward to April 2023. Chung makes a move back to singles, grinding it out on the Challenger Tour. Except, well, the spark just wasn't there. Over the whole year, he managed just one lonely win. His last singles appearance, Wimbledon qualifying, 2024. Not exactly center court at the Slam, you know? Then, in 2024, he's playing Futures events in Japan. Yeah, Futures. Not even Challengers. He picked up a few wins, but the guy who once stunned Djokovic? Nowhere to be seen. He's only 28, which, in tennis, is supposed to be prime time, but his body's just not letting him keep up. It sucks, honestly. There's probably still a monster player buried in there somewhere, but his back straight up refuses to cooperate. Sometimes, no matter how much talent you've got, injuries just slam the door shut, and that's that. Looking back, it's kind of gutting. The guy had the footwork, the steel trap mind, and that ridiculous backhand. Some people even said he was future Slam material. Maybe he was, but yeah. Fate had other ideas. His story's a punch in the gut reminder that sports dreams are super fragile. Injuries don't care how good you are or how hard you work. Chung's run might have gotten cut short, but man, the flashes of brilliance he gave us? Unforgettable. Hyun Chung's story is a heartbreaking reminder of how injuries can derail even the brightest careers. From stunning Djokovic to battling relentless pain, his journey was filled with promise and struggle. Whatever happens next, Chung's legacy as a warrior on court remains unforgettable. If you found this story interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives like this. Thanks for watching.